Yes. The bobblehead, the Hungo bobblehead returns here in 2008. We'll be tracking that bobblehead week to week, and tonight we find the bobblehead inside our production truck. So we will award our first bobblehead this Friday night, and I think you have never ever given it to either Tom Mee or Mike Helling, Doug Stanton, Brian McCann, our fine crew. I could be mistaken, but
no, you're not mistaken.
You're just not going to do it? You're not going to award them a bobblehead at some point and autograph it, personalize it, make sure it's a special night for them, treat them special? I'm putting you on the spot here, partner. I mean,
I can't say that they don't earn it on a nightly basis. They do an excellent job.
Tom Mee telling us that at one point during batting practice, as Duncan picks up a base hit, he was robbed his first time up, that you drilled him during batting practice. Is that true?
Well, Tom Mee played a little minor league baseball.
So it's true.
And he was a position player, and this was many, many years ago. He kept on asking me if he could take BP off me, and I said sure. So the first pitch, I drilled him in the ribs.
Did he get back in the box?
Yes, he did. He was a gamer.
Credit,
he's a gamer.
Okay, good.
Talking about gamers,
Mr. Pujols.
They get any better.
Albert hit .327 last year, 32 homers, over 100 RBIs. By the way, he owns 4 home runs against Kip Wells. Runner goes, and the pitch is hit out of play. You don't
see that often, do you?
I was about to bring that up. One of the things that we saw with McGuire in town and now with Pujols is that you just don't start the runner that much in front of him because you want first base occupied so many times.
I almost got to believe that it's it's a hit and run, maybe even forcing Albert to swing at the first pitch,
which he does not do very often, at least not last year. 0-1 pitch. So 4 home runs against Kip Wells and 9 RBIs in his career for Albert Pujols. Homered into the bullpen of the Rockies yesterday, but that was washed away. The defense, there is a ton of room into left center field. They actually shade him to hit it to the opposite field.
Yeah, straight away in left field, and then they play the center fielder around towards right field. Big gap in left center.
Now, how much of that is Kip Wells saying, look, I've watched this guy all last season. I want to pitch him this way. Or Bob Apodaca looking at the videotape and their video coach, Bob Apodaca, their pitching coach, and saying this is how we need to pitch him.
Circle change up there, had him way out in front. And that's a way to to combat Albert. Is one, you got to change speeds, you got to change location, but that changeup is a pitch, especially early in the season, that's going to have some success. But I don't like that defense if you're throwing a lot of changeups.
The 1-2 pitch inside. But again, back to my point with Wells, at least watching Pujols for a year and trying to say, look, I think if we pitch him this way, let's set up the defense this way. I don't understand it because he sprays it all over the place.
Yeah, you could see, really by design, taking it up the middle and then left field. He has such tremendous plate coverage, and he keeps his hands back in the hitting zone longer than most hitters. And when he pulls the trigger, he just explodes on a ball.
Chris Duncan, the runner at first, and Pujols.
I will say this, that Randy Marsh has had a tight strike zone for Kip Wells.
And the count is full, so let's see what they want to do with Duncan here running at first.
As a pitcher, you sit there and you go, there's an umpire not wanting to ring up a superstar in his home ballpark.
But it's been that way basically all night long. I think, that portion of the plate has not been given to either righties or lefties. And for either side, as time is called. And we'll talk over this very important pitch. 3-2 on one of the game's best sluggers, Albert Pujols. And on deck, you have Rick Ankiel. Grounded out back in the second. As he grounded out to third.
You're going to send Duncan on this pitch. If you didn't, you maybe, you know, Albert doesn't swing much, but if you didn't, just because Ankiel, left-handed, have the runner on for the hole on the right side.
Duncan is running the 3-2, a swing and a miss, throw down to second. There's your double play.
Well, you don't expect Albert to strike out, so when he does, then there's very little protection for Chris Duncan.
Let's go pitch by pitch in the at bat. And our pitch by pitch feature this season in 08 is brought to you by Chevrolet.
Down and away with the first one, kind of watch locations, follows it up right there, doesn't get a call. Then there's the changeup. Ball that takes off inside, but it's effective. Then back away with a little slider. Kind of inside for the swing and miss. Took a little something off it, gets the swing and miss and the double play. Second one the Rockies have had today.
Yorvi Torrealba threw out 20% of would-be base stealers a year ago. And if you're wondering, on the other side, Molina caught 50% of runners last year and 47% overall in his career. Torrealba was so big down the stretch with some key hits for the Rockies in their remarkable run to postseason play. They won 14 of 15 in the regular season. That was just to finish up the regular season portion of the schedule. Then they had 2 sweeps and wound up going 21-1 rolling into the Fall Classic, and then they were swept by the Boston Red Sox. Here's a 2-0 pitch. And it's now 3 balls and no strikes. You would presume that this lineup for Tony has a lot more power this season. Last year the Cardinals were 13th in home runs at 141 on the year. But you're going to get more production from a guy like Ankiel, certainly more production from third base. And that is ball 4. Kip Wells has walked 2 on the night. So a 2-out walk. Those are the kind of things that'll frustrate that Rockies coaching staff, seeing 2-out walks like that.
Well, especially when you bring up a power guy that, yes, he will swing and miss, and this ball club will strike out a bunch. But if you make mistake to Troy Glaus or, you know, Rick Ankiel, some of the others, they're going to make you pay. So one of the keys is not to compound the problem by putting a runner on a free pass in front of him.
Outfield is deep for Troy Glaus. 2 outs and a runner at first. The pitch is hit out of play. His first time up, he flied to right. Now, Kip Wells knew the writing was on the wall at the end of last season that he would not return to St. Louis. And he said, you know what? I thought I was supposed to make the final start of the regular season, and it went to Troy Percival, a guy that had never started a game in the major leagues. He said that pretty much told me I'm on my way out. And he was. He's gone 17 and 35 in the last 3 years.
But he always is intriguing, and he's always going to have a taker going 17 and 35 because somebody's always going to think they can turn him around because he has good stuff.
Pitch outside. Troy Glaus, 1 ball, 1 strike. They feel that with Colorado they have upped their bullpen as far as a strength. Corpus, Buchholz, Hergis, Vizcaino is the free agent signing in the offseason. And Brian Fuentes from the left side as Glaus hits it out of play. One of the things that they talked about, by the way, with Kip Wells was working from the stretch. They felt that in spring training he was much better from the stretch as opposed to working from the windup.
After the strike him out, throw him out, and nobody on, he almost worked Ankiel from the stretch.
Saw that.
Thinking, you know, I mean, just little distractions, little things like that he forgets about game situations.
Here's a 1-2 pitch.
I think Troy just realized he missed his pitch right there. That's part of it, you know. If you're patient enough, and Kip Wells has that reputation that he will give you pitches to hit, but will you do something with it when it gives you that? This was ERA by inning last season. Not too many times he was around in the 7th inning or beyond.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Troy Glaus. And a swing and a miss, and Kip Wells has struck out 3 on the night. We move to the 5th here at Busch, and there's no score.
I just can't seem to get it right today. Just can't seem to get it right today. Just can't seem to get it right today. I guess I'm gonna give up. Oh, I guess I'm gonna give up.
The fuel-efficient Kia Spectra. With fewer fill-ups, you may just forget which side it's on, starting around $13,500.
These aren't just our guests. These are our neighbors. So we don't just make them appetizers, we make them Applebee's Ultimate Trios. Choose 3 of our most killer apps for one low price. Like tangy citrus teriyaki wings, crispy panko-crusted dynamite shrimp, even our all-Angus mini bacon cheeseburgers. Ultimate Trios. This grillin' bar is raising the bar. Applebee's. It's a whole new neighborhood.
It's a new day at your Chrysler dealer. And there's no better time to get Chrysler 300. Get the best protection in the business. Our lifetime powertrain warranty with unlimited mileage. And get better value with no extra charge dual DVDs on Town & Country Signature Series. Or 0% financing for 60 months on Sebring Convertible, Pacifica, and Aspen. But the Chrysler New Day sales event won't last long, so you'd better hurry.
You're watching FSN Midwest, where Cardinals fans come first.
2 hits aside, the Rockies have stranded 4 on the night. The Cardinals have stranded 2, and there is no score here at Busch Stadium. Cal Loge goes back to work for St. Louis. And Bank of America is the official bank of the St. Louis Cardinals. How much stock do you put into spring training records where the Cardinals, really played well the final couple of weeks? Only lost a ball game or 2 in the final 2 weeks of spring training. You put much into that?
It depends on your team, and I think it was important for this club with so many changes for it to feel like it came together, and it seemed like it came together once they added Loesch.
And I think you'd have to say, if you're going to evaluate a record in spring training, is that as long as you win at the end of spring training, that's the better of the two, as opposed to winning at the beginning, because you want a little momentum going into this regular season.
Sure, and especially when you have so many young players and maybe so many doubters to the caliber of this ball club. It's most important that their psyche. And I've always said a young team that it's important for them to get off a good start, because they can trick themselves, not realizing that they aren't as good as what they believe they are to be. But usually over the course of 162 games, things will kind of even out.
2-2 in the count on Jason Nix. Fly to left his first time up, and the count runs full. Nix, then Kip Wells, and the top of the lineup for the Rockies. No score here at Busch here in the 5th.
No free passes.
Slowly hit, and a foul ball. Right-handers last year hit .281 against Loesch, and from the left side .276. And I mentioned he began his career with the Chicago Cubs, and he was part of the Rick Aguilera deal way back when. Spent 5.5 years with Minnesota, then on to Cincinnati, the Phillies, and now St. Louis. Lit alone, a leadoff walk to start the 5th. Third walk that's issued by the Cardinal right-hander. Pitch count at 64 on the night. FSN Midwest is the home of Cardinals baseball, and we at FSN bring you 130 games this season. 88 of those will be in high definition, plus you'll see Cardinals live before and after every game. Cardinal series with the Rockies continues tomorrow at 6 with the pregame show, 7:15 with our first pitch. for fans that are unfamiliar with this, 7:15 will be the normal start time on night games during the week. Bumped it back 5 minutes. And showing bunt is Kip Wells. Stabs at it. That's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. He struck out back in the 3rd. And Loge has struck out 2.
Poor form. Not getting the bunt out in, and you could just see that, you know, his last bunt was last April. Not getting the bunt or the bat out in fair territory.
And time is called. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kyle Loge, by the way, pitched 6 or more innings in 15 of his 21 starts with the Reds. So, you know, you're getting a guy that at least you hope that will give you innings here in 2008.
And it appears that Kyle is going to do everything he can to try and help himself in a ball game. Walking the leadoff man is not a good indication of that, but
1-1 pitch. Bunted foul. 2 strikes on Kip Wells. With situations like these where you may really see the difference with a guy like Troy Gloss and Scott Rowland. Scott Rowland was so good defensively, one of the best we have ever seen at third base. And you know, Gloss is not at that level, but still he's not going to embarrass himself over at third base either.
he's pretty good at coming in on bunt situations like this, but just doesn't have a lot of range at third base. Two strikes, maybe an indication where Tony wanted Loge to throw over to first to see if Kip would give away that he was still bunting. Because we have seen him swing the bat at times and swing it well.
1-2 pitch. And Wells can't help himself.
See, that's a great point, Dan. There's little things like that. He does not help himself put himself or his teammates in position to win.
The thing that really stood out to me last year, remember all the errors defensively that he had in games that he was on the mound? I mean, that just, you know, like you say, little things that he just was not able to do.
Yeah, can't help himself out there bunting. You're right. He had a bundle of errors, and just, you know, would be in a situation where he would throw a ball away and cost him a game.
Now back to the top of the lineup. Willie Taveras is 0 for 2. He has grounded out to short and grounded out to third.
There was, yeah, that is, you know, Tony La Russa calls these moves. It's bunt defense, and you'll see him all the time flashing things. But he's going on this, and it makes perfect sense. He had the first false step over there. You throw over there because you got a slap hitter. You got a guy that has tremendous speed. He hits down on the ball, so it's a good time for the hit and run.
1 out, runner at first.
Or run and hit.
Taveras, ground ball hit to short. Tough to turn 2. 6, 4, 3. Safe at first. Boy, he gets down the line quicker than just about anybody right now in the major leagues.
That was pretty. They turned that as well as they could, and it, to the naked eye, it was very close over at first base.
Now, I've talked to Adam Kennedy about trying to adjust with a new shortstop, and if it's really that much of a difference. And he said not really. He said you get into spring training, you take a few games, and you're always taking so much infield. You start to get a feel for each other and how you want to handle the ball and different turns at second base.
Yeah, and so much of that is just the pregame preparation, and nobody better. You know, they were out there working on that again today, but nobody better to instruct and teach you than Jose Oquendo.
Troy Tulowitzki. He has walked in double tonight. 2 outs and a runner at first. See if Taveras wants to do some running. He had 33 steals a year ago. In the 5th grade, Troy Tulowitzki was asked what he wanted to do when he grew up. He said, I want to be a Major League Baseball player. And the teacher at that time, Al, said, you got to have realistic expectations here. You know, you can't think about being a Major League Baseball player. Well, apparently that teacher shows up in one of his games last year in San Francisco with the questionnaire and had him sign it as he picks up an infield base hit. And he said, I want you to sign this because I'm going back to tell my kids that, you know, actually you can live your dream and dream big. Why not? And here he is in the major leagues.
But that was a very fair response from the teacher.
Sure was. What the heck are you thinking here?
And, you know, once again, you know, kids, get your education first. Then after you get out of college, if you have an opportunity to play professional sports, by all means, try it. But play athletics in order to try and get a college scholarship.
Here's 2 outs, runners at first and second for Todd Helton. And he takes a ball up and in. He's 1 for 2 on the night. Todd Helton holds the Rockies records for the single season home run mark, extra base hits, doubles, walks. The 1-0 pitch. He's still got a long way to go in his career. You wonder where he'll wind up as far as his numbers before it's all said and done. And then how those numbers will be viewed.
Not only the lofty offensive numbers, but as you mentioned earlier, a 3-time Gold Glove winner. But that leadoff walk will come back and hurt. Nope.
On the outfield grass, it's Adam Kennedy, and the Rockies strand 2 more. They have stranded 6 through 5. The turn by Adam Kennedy, just a bit short at second base. No score.
Bud Light is brewed to give you everything you want in a beer. Never-ending refreshment, superior drinkability, and now the ability to talk to animals.
Hey there, boy. How was your day?
Sausages. 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 Please, sausages. 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 Sausage. Sausages.
Okay.
Sausage.
Good talk.
Sausages.
The ability to talk to animals no longer available in Bud Light.
Sausage.
The endless refreshment, however, remains.
Bud Light keeps it coming.
What's on your mind, little buddy?
Mind your own business, chump.
Sausage.
It's here and it's big. It's Dodge Truck Month. Driven by Dodge Ram 1500 with fuel-saving MDS technology that turns Hemi V8 power into a gas-sipping 4-cylinder at cruising speeds. And it's backed by our lifetime powertrain warranty. With unlimited mileage, you're covered for as long as you own your truck. Now get a no extra charge Hemi plus 0% financing for 60 months on Ram 1500. Get into Truck Month at your local Dodge dealer. It's gonna be huge.
And that's what it's like to be a spy.
Whoa.
Hey kids.
Hi.
I'm Sarah's father, not a spy or anything. My wife and I just own the Dairy Queen up the road, and I thought I'd make you all blizzards today.
Yeah!
He's making blizzards! How do you go on after that?
It's a tough act to follow. The new Tin Roof Brownie Blizzard. Chocolatey covered peanuts and chewy brownie pieces.
Cardinals baseball is back on FSN Midwest. The Redbirds continue their opening series with the NL champion Rockies as baseball gets back into full swing on your home of the Cardinals. Rockies, Cardinals on FSN Midwest.
No score, bottom of the 5th rolls in here at Busch Stadium. Visit the official online shop of the Cardinals at stlcardinals.com and browse the largest selection of authentic team gear, including clubhouse caps, t-shirts, jerseys, and more. Get your Cardinals gear straight from the source. Shop the stlcardinals.com shop today. Kyle McClellan, the right-hander in the bullpen for St. Louis, getting loose. Cal Loge has thrown 74 pitches on the night.
It's the 3rd scheduled hitter. And in the 8th spot, so is his night through, or will it depend on if there's a scoring opportunity? Because he could go beyond. He's done that in his spring training already, thrown more than 70 pitches.
Tony La Russa is saying prior to the game tonight that he'd love to get McClellan some work early on in this season. No better way to get it going than opening day.
And Kyle's still 23 years of age, won't turn 24 until June, mid-June. So, you know, if you're going to keep him up here, you've got to get him enough innings to where you don't stunt or retard his development. If he was going to be at Memphis AAA, he was going to be in the starting rotation.
Well, the Cardinals bullpen a year ago was one of the strong points of this team. Bullpen was 58-3 when leading after 6. They had a 30-12 record, and Isringhausen had a terrific season bouncing back from injury. Boy, Izzy was great.
Wow, Springer and Franklin and Izzy, 7, 8, and 9 you had well covered. It was just far too many times you couldn't get even to that late into a game with the starters not going deep.
Molina jumps on the pitch out to left center field. Holiday back, looks up, and it's gone. It just snuck over the wall. Yachty's first of the season, and the Cardinals lead it 1-0.
There's a happy young man right there, and as you said, maybe he lost too much weight because he almost didn't get this one out there. Up and in, but he opens up, clears his hips, and into the first row out there in left center. And the Cardinals had their lead.
Here's Kennedy, nobody out in the Cardinals half of the 5th, and Adam grounds it hard to second. Jason Nix is there to his left and makes the play for the first out. So the first Cardinal home run officially goes to Yadier Molina.
I think Yachty's going to, he's just going to prove and get better and better as a hitter. And he'll hit, a fair share of home runs, more than the 6 that he had a year ago.
So that will be it for Kyle Loge. He gets through 5, and now it's Rico Washington. I think his heart's pounding a little bit.
Oh boy, I tell you what, 11 years in the minor leagues, 3,980 minor league at bats, all waiting for this. Tony said that was one of the most delightful conversations he's had in a long time, is telling Rico Washington that you made this ball club.
And Rico chops one to first, knocked down by Helton. And covering it's Kip Wells for out number 2. 3-1 on the putout, and it brings in Cesar Izturis. Izturis on the night is fly to left. So a total of 74 pitches for Kyle Loge. His night is through. And Kyle gives up 3 hits. He walked 3 and struck out 3, and no runs allowed.
Well, we endorsed the signing of Kyle Loge. Everything we saw in spring training furthered that point, and tonight even an exclamation point.
And a breaking ball at the knees on the outside corner to Cesar Izturis. Cardinals with a solo home run from Yadier Molina. They lead it 1-0. Izturis hit .246 with the Cubs last year and .276 with Pittsburgh. In many ways, Kip Wells trying to audition for one of those starting jobs right now for Colorado. He pitches well, he may get another shot.
He has pitched well. Give him credit. But so much of the time just well enough to be on the losing end, but there's still a lot of game left.
Little chopper hit to second, handled by Jason Nix. The Cardinals go 1-2-3, but that happens after the home run from Yadier Molina against his former battery mate, Kip Wells. Molina's first after 6 a year ago, and 1-0 as we head to the 6th.
It's here and it's big. It's Dodge Truck Month. Driven by Dodge Ram 1500 with fuel-saving MDS technology that turns Hemi V8 power into a gas-sipping 4-cylinder at cruising speeds. And it's backed by our lifetime powertrain warranty. With unlimited mileage, you're covered for as long as you own your truck. Now get a no extra charge Hemi plus 0% financing for 60 months on Ram 1500. Get into Truck Month at your local Dodge dealer. It's gonna be huge.
The first case of HIV/AIDS was identified 25 years ago. Since then, 25 million people have died. 5,000 people die daily. The fight against this disease still hasn't produced a cure, but every day, each and every person who joins the fight brings us that much closer to winning it. So why should you care? Because it's impossible not to. Join the fight.
The Serie A season is in full force on FSC. Tensions run wild as world-class stars come together in pursuit of the coveted Scudetto. Unmatched skill, relentless determination. It's all on the line, and these teams will stop at nothing to reach the top. Don't miss a moment of Italy's electrifying season. La Lega Calcio Serie A, exclusively on FSC.
You're watching FSN Midwest, where Cardinals fans come first.
3 hits aside, and the Cardinals have a 1-0 lead as we move to the 6th inning. Opening day here at Busch Stadium. Kyle Loge, as we take a look at the Kawasaki. Let the good times roll. 5 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, and 74 pitches, Al, on the night.
Remember, he was supposed to be still part of the spring training. He was going to make his first scheduled start the 6th game of the season, and he did his job. And here's a guy that was probably the biggest surprise of spring training. St. Louis and Kyle Loesch making his major league debuts, never pitched above Double-A. Dr. Paletta did a phenomenal job of reconstructing his elbow. And St. Louis loves that first pitch. Not that it was intentional at all, but hey, stare in there and make people think it was.
Native St. Louisan made the conversion from starter to reliever at Tommy John, and I know you like that pitch.
You saw 2 of his 4 good pitches. Good hard slider right there. And Dave Duncan loves it from early in spring. He was raving about his ability and started projecting him as a possibility of making this team. Is just a question, would he get enough innings out of that bullpen?
He's had Tommy John surgery. That was in 2005. Follow-up ulnar nerve surgery in 2006. So that's what you're talking about with Mr. Paletta and what he did for Kyle McClellan. Comes in, and now it's 2-2 to face Matt Holliday. Welcome to the big leagues. You get last year's batting champ and RBI champ, the first man you see.
You know what? You got so flying high on emotions. He doesn't know who's up there.
Ground ball hit to third. Troy Glaus is there, makes the play, and Kyle McClellan records his first major league out.
And you know,
let's take a look at the Aflac trivia. With one out here in the top of the 6th, and the Cardinals up by a run. How many rainouts have there been at the new Busch Stadium? Well, we know 1.
I think that was it. 3. Oh, okay. 5?
Can't forget, well, they had the 2 of the postseason in 06.
Oh, well.
See, they got you on a technicality there. But then you had the 3 regular seasons, so now 5. Garrett Atkins falls behind 0-2.
You know, Kyle is you listen to him talk, and he's well beyond his age. Very mature young man, and you know, he's from here. His brother was his pitching coach in high school. His father, part owner of a baseball facility.
In the air, left center. Catch made by Rick Ankiel for out number 2. Well, if you want to win the ticket to a game, go to StubHub.com. It's fast and easy. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the St. Louis Cardinals. And with 2 outs, the batter is Brad Hopp.
I think there was one little important thing that happened right before he faced his first man. And that was that Albert Pujols went over and said just one little calming effect. They have worked out the last few years in the off-season together, and that's probably all he needed, just to relax.
Well, can you imagine what is going through his mind right now as it goes to 3-0 on Brad Hopp, and Molina will just slow him down a little bit. I mean, he grew up a Cardinal fan, and he was saying the other day that he had been to probably 5 or 6 opening days, took part in the festivities yesterday, and like you said, he's had a chance to work out with some of the Cardinals in the offseason that still call St. Louis home in the offseason, Pujols being one of those.
And you know, Molina went out there to tell him to take his first breath of the inning. But you know, his parents are season ticket holders behind the dugout, so you know, a few rows up. But this is every guy's dream.
And with all that taken aside, this is a crucial, and I mean a crucial role for the Cardinals, middle relief.
And early, you know, because they're well covered with the veterans late. Fastball away.
The 3-2.
Came all the way back.
That's going to roll foul. When you look at the Cardinals a year ago, and to me, Al, when they ran out of gas, a lot of it had to do with the fact that their starters just didn't go deep into games. So you got to September, and that bullpen was just, it was just out of gas. That's all there was to it.
And I think they're just talking about one thing that Tony wants to do. To me, you know, you don't know about a guy bringing him in when you're down by 8 or 9 runs. He's still, until you come into a game like this where the game's on the line, you're 1-0 lead, trying to get valuable outs. That's when you can build off it. Get him out of this inning, pat him on the back, know that he's done a job that hopefully ultimately ends up in a victory. And there's also one other thing too. This is the old school. This is how you groomed pitchers. You put them in the bullpen, your first presence. Even the guys that were going to be starting. When it was good enough for Bob Gibson, it was good enough for Kyle McClellan.
The 3-2 is fouled back. McClellan, a 25th round selection out of Hazelwood West High School.
There was some talk that he was going to be in the 8th round, and he said, I'm going to Mizzou. End up falling down the 25th.
Swing and a miss, and he gets the strikeout. His first in the major leagues in a 1-2-3 inning for Kyle McClellan, and a standing ovation as we head to break.
The weather was so much better yesterday.
A bad day in Florida beats a good day almost anywhere else. With over 25 daily flights from St. Louis to the Sunshine State, Southwest is taking low fares farther. Go to southwest.com for our $84 internet specials.
You are now free to move about the country.
The Kawasaki Go Green sales event. Get the lowest payments of the year now.
Auto Tire has the lowest tire prices in town. Auto Tire guarantees the lowest bottom line price in town. No add-ons, no surprises. For the lowest bottom line price, you ought to go to Auto Tire, the tire pros.
It's a new day at your Jeep dealer, and there's no better time to get the new all Jeep Liberty, or even the first ever 4-door Jeep Wrangler. Get the best protection in the business, our lifetime powertrain warranty with unlimited mileage, and get better value on Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited with a no extra charge navigation system. Plus, 0% financing for 60 months. But the Jeep New Day sales event won't last long, so you'd better hurry.
Well, the Cardinals have a lead of 1-0. Welcome back to Busch Stadium. Bottom of the 6th, and the top of the lineup for Tony La Russa and the Cardinals. Kyle McClellan, nice debut, and family and friends in attendance tonight. He said he wasn't going to leave a lot of tickets either. He said, I'm going to try to play this cool. You know, my mom and dad and my
he
close
did
friends
get married
and
in the off season, so don't forget your wife,
Bridget.
Bridget.
I'm with you. Don't worry. I wouldn't forget.
Thank you.
But he said, you know, he wasn't going to do that. And a guy that you and I are friends with, and we really enjoy being around him, and he loves to talk baseball, is Scott Cooper. And when he got back to St. Louis, you know, he hit .230 in his year in St. Louis after a real successful stint with Boston. But he even said to me, and he was on the caravan with me, he said that was really tough. You know, it was a tough transition to come back to my hometown and be able to pitch in front of family and friends, and then to have all the demands on my time.
Well, that's what you hope too, is that family and friends, the friends will understand that you know, there's not an unlimited supply of tickets even for the players, and so, you know, be considerate and call StubHub.
There you go. Call StubHub. That's what you want to hear. Your buddy gets in the major leagues and you say, can I get a ticket to watch your debut? And you tell him, go to StubHub. Very nice, Al. As Schumacher is retired, he's 0 for 2. Let's take a look at the Hardy's hot pitches. We've got 3 of them from Kyle McClellan.
Little ball off the plate there, hit a little movement. Here's a fastball that he challenges with. And then you see here's that slider. He's got 4 major league quality pitches. Doesn't have the experience, but boy, he's got a wealth of knowledge down there in the bullpen. Those veteran guys can teach him a lot, help him out. You can take a young player and put him in the bullpen, and you can kind of structure and control their success and put them in situations. But this was a pressure-packed situation, perfectly made for your debut, and to gain that the belief that you belong here at this level and can compete.
Chris Duncan was robbed his first time up by the shortstop Tulowitzki. It turned into a double play, 6-4-3. And then he singled and was caught stealing back in the 4th. Cardinals lead it thanks to Yadier Molina's solo home run. It's 1-0. That catches the outside corner. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Kip's done a very good job of pitching on both sides of the plate, changing speeds.
On deck, it's Pujols, and here's the 2-1. It's the same pitch. As Pujols just stares and studies and gets ready on deck.
Well, I mean, look at Albert, but look at his night. He popped up to foul territory to first base and struck him out. So, I mean,
here's a 2-2. Up and in. 2 pitches away. That one up and in. Not bad. 3-2. Duncan, a real tough spring. One of the things they've done here at Busch Stadium, they've extended the fence after what took place, the tragic incident there with Juan Encarnacion. And it doesn't look like he's going to be playing professional baseball any longer. It was Aaron Miles at the plate, and a line drive that hit off the eye of Encarnacion. 5 1/3 for Kip Wells. So you see that, adjustments made obviously with the fencing that's been extended to the camera well on both sides. The 3-2 pitch. How about you? I'm impressed with this crowd. I didn't think it would be this big coming back from opening day. You got so many fans that are from out of town that make it a special one-time visit for opening day, but the seats are pretty much filled.
I think these Cardinal fans, even the little portion they saw of the 08 team yesterday, they were intrigued. They want to see this team do well, but I think they're going to see that maximum play hard for 9, and I think people are going to find that this team's going to play with a lot of energy, and we'll take our chances.
Cardinals will play the Rockies in a 4-game set on the road. 3-game series to open up this season. Count of 3 balls, 2 strikes on Duncan. With 1 out and nobody on here in the Cardinals half of the 6th. Pitch in the dirt, and it brings up Albert with a runner on. There again is what you're talking about, how frustrating it can be with Kip Wells. You put a man on, and now Pujols will dig in. Well, this April, Fox Saturday Baseball begins on opening weekend with the Mets battle the Braves, or the White Sox take on the Tigers, the Dodgers and the Padres. Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week returns Saturday at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. High definition on Fox. Albert Pujols is 0 for 2. He's fouled out to Todd Helton at first and struck out back in the 4th. Last time he was up on the first pitch, they tried a hit and run in this spot with Duncan the runner at first base. And Pujols hits a rope out to left, sinking liner, and the catch is not made. It's a base hit for Pujols.
Good base running by Duncan. Go halfway and then determine whether that ball is caught. You got enough time to get back. In this case, he kind of smothered it on the ground, but did not catch it. Jumping on the first pitch, one of those line drives out there, little short hop. Duncan was in position to where he saw that it was not a catch, so he advances to second base. Get out there, you watch, you slow down. Now you see it's on the ground, and you take a few steps to second.
Activity now in the Rockies bullpen. No activity in the Cardinals bullpen.
And bring in the lefty.
They've got 2 left-handers out there, Bowie and Brian Fuentes. So I tell you about the change when we come back.
Now is the time. Here is the place. And this is the truck. Chevy Silverado Half-Ton. The full-size pickup available with best-in-class 4x4 fuel economy. Well-qualified buyers can get 0% APR financing for 60 months for an average finance savings of $57.16 on an 08 Silverado Half-Ton model. Shop Chevy now. See for yourself. Shop and compare at stlchevy.com.
Mr. Morris, did you or did you not go to Box Burger on 14 separate occasions last year?
Well, yes.
Did you or did you not carry trays, serve food, fill soft drink cups, and bus tables?
Sure, but...
In other words, you work there. Why didn't you declare your income?
I was a customer. I never got paid.
All that work and no pay. What kind of fools do you take us for?
At Steak and Shake, we're a restaurant. You sit, and I do the work.
Steak and Shake.
Electronic stability control is standard, and the Sonata gets up to 28 miles per gallon. Plus, right now, you can get $3,000 cash back.
What do you mean,
Adam Smith? Best-selling author of The Money Game?
Take the money you save and buy an insured CD.
Yeah.
The Hyundai Dollars and Cents sales event. Right now, get a 2008 Sonata with $3,000 cash back.
Find your local St. Louis area Hyundai dealers at findhyundai.com.
Cardinal Baseball on FSN Midwest is brought to you by Rico. Move your ideas forward with Rico dependability. And by your Missouri, Illinois Dodge dealers. Micah Bowie takes over for the Colorado Rockies. It's our Chevrolet call to the pen. And Bowie's been around a long time, left-handed pitcher. But most of that time has been spent in the minor leagues. Began his professional career with the Braves organization back in 1994 and spins a breaking ball to Ricky Ankiel. 5 1/3 tonight for Kip Wells. 4 hits, walked 3, struck out 3, and gave up the home run to Yadier Molina.
Interesting how they play Ankiel, sort of to shade him in the outfield to the opposite way. Breaking balls away from the 33-year-old left-hander. Most recently in the big leagues with Washington. little bit of experience with what, Chicago, Atlanta, and Oakland.
Appeared with the A's in their postseason a couple years ago. 2 balls, 1 strike on Ankiel. Rick is grounded out to third and then walked his last time up back in the 4th. Kip Wells on the hook, the 17-game loser a year ago for the Cardinals. It was the most by a Cardinal since Joe McGrain had 17 losses back in 1990. Runners at first and second. 2-1 the count on Ankiel. Ground ball hit to second, double play ball. 4-6-3 double play. We head to the 7th, 1-0 St. Louis.
Wake up a little easier with your favorite pick-me-up drink from McDonald's. And right now, get a free Redbox DVD rental with the purchase of any large soft drink. Only at McDonald's.
These things we count on every day started as ideas. Ideas from the minds of African Americans. Support minority education today so we don't miss out on the next big idea tomorrow. The United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
The Serie A season is in full force on FSC. Tensions run wild as world-class stars come together in pursuit of the coveted Scudetto. Unmatched skill, relentless determination. It's all on the line, and these teams will stop at nothing to reach the top. Don't miss a moment of Italy's electrifying season. La Lega Calcio Serie A, exclusively on FSC.
The all-new Champions Club is the place to be at Busch Stadium in 2008, featuring an upscale buffet, 2 all-inclusive bars, and over 40 flat-screen televisions. The Champions Club will be the ballpark's newest hotspot, so check it out. Tickets on sale right now at STLCardinals.com. Here is Russ Springer coming off a fabulous season a year ago. 1-0 Cardinals, top of the 7th. And Springer is the 3rd pitcher used by Tony La Russa. Cardinals got 5 innings out of Loge. McClellan scoreless 6, and let's see what Springer can do here in the 7th.
He was outstanding last year for the Cardinals, and the 7th inning was his. Franklin had the 8th, Izzy had the 9th. And that was a winning combination. And Springer pitched his best baseball here in St. Louis.
Here's Torey Alba and a swing and a miss. Bottom of the lineup for Colorado. 7, 8, and 9. Well, we know many of these pitchers are getting healthier. Let's give you a medical update on some of these guys. Joel Pinheiro threw a bullpen today. Mark Mulder scheduled to throw one tomorrow. That's a base hit for Torey Alba. Chris Carpenter scheduled to throw a bullpen tomorrow, as well as Josh Kenny. So guys getting a little bit better. What's on Tap is brought to you by Bud Light. Bud Light keeps it coming. Game 2 between these 2 teams, the Rockies and the Cardinals, tomorrow night. We'll have it for you right here on FSN at 6 o'clock. The Cardinals and the Rockies. Bud Light, what's on tap. Here's Jason Nix, who started that double play to end the Cardinals' bottom of the 6th. He has walked and flied out. Springer now 38 years old. One of the elder statesmen in that bullpen, and one of the guys that certainly a Kyle McClellan or some of the younger players can learn from.
Oh, absolutely. And he is willing to, impart that knowledge. He and Izzy down there, they did a wonderful job taking Franklin, a converted starter, teaching him the ropes of the bullpen. But a guy like McClellan, they're going to just teach him how to be a Cardinal and how to be a big leaguer and play the game the right way.
I've talked to Russ about all the different surgeries that he's had on his elbow and his shoulder. And at one point, a doctor told him, "You're done. I mean, there's just nothing we can do for your arm. We can't fix it. It's just, it's over for you." And
what was that, 5-6 years ago, wasn't it?
Literally, yeah.
And he pitched so well for the Astros for about 3 years, and then last year for the Cardinals, all after that doctor. But said, "Thank you, Doc. I know you got a great pedigree, but I believe in myself."
Good pitch that time. Swing and a miss. He sat out all of 2002. That's when he was injured. And then signed with the Cardinals in 03.
Takes a little off here. The movement on that pitch, even though it's up, it finishes out of the strike zone with good movement. It's that slider that's so effective.
Love a double play here. Here comes an 0-2 pitch. Long look by Springer. Swing and a miss. And Nick strikes out. Well, coming up after the game, stay tuned for Cardinals Live, the post-game show completely dedicated to your team, and our reporters will take you inside the clubhouse. Player interviews, in-depth analysis, complete Cardinals post-game coverage. Stay tuned. Cardinals Live after every game right here on FSN Midwest, and we'd like to welcome back to the FSN Midwest family, Brent Stover. Good to see him part of our Cardinals coverage. So Cardinals Live is coming up. Jim Hayes will be part of that. We say congratulations. If you're wondering about Joe Goldberg, he's now with the Kansas City Royals.
Right. It's amazing how we sent Brent away until he learned how to shave.
Now he's back.
Yeah, he shaves now.
Here is Brian Spilborghs. 11 home runs, 51 driven in a year ago.
He was one of their big pinch hitters a year ago.
Torrey Alba is the runner at first. No balls and 2 strikes. I guess if you're the Cardinals, Al, the idea is keep your head above water these first couple of months and keep your fingers crossed with Mulder and Carpenter and hope those guys come back healthy.
And that's it. And in the meantime, convince yourself that you guys are capable of winning your fair share of games on top of it.
1-2 the count. When leading after 6, again, it's worth repeating, a year ago this bullpen 58-3.
So imperative for any team that once you have a lead, you're able to close it out in the victory column.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 2 for Russ Springer. Spilborgh's retired. Cardinal fans, make sure to visit Bush Bash in the Ford Plaza. Prior to each Friday home game, Bush Bash features prizes like music and a Cardinals player. Friday, April 4th will feature Adam Wainwright from 6 until 6:30. For tickets, give the Cardinals a call. There's still good seats available for this Friday, 345-9000, or go to the Cardinals website at stlcardinals.com.
Taveras and Russ Springer were teammates in Houston, and you'd wonder if he tried to take him to the opposite field.
Showing bunt and takes a ball low and away.
Of course, when he's showing bunt, he's not giving in even here with 2 outs, because he has more infield hits than anybody in the National League the last few years.
Well, since 05, he has 88 bunt hits, and we always think of Juan Pierre being a guy that would do that. Well, Juan Pierre has only 62 compared to the 88 by Taveras.
Not as Turris at one point was trying to get Kennedy to move a little bit more towards first base. He's playing awful deep with a guy like Taveras up.
First time these two have faced each other. Willie Taveras and Russ Springer. Hits it to right, backing up a step or 2. Schumacher Scoreless frame put together by Russ Springer. His debut here in 08. Time to stretch. 1-0 St. Louis.